On this video, we're talking about the cancellation of Comrades 2021. Obviously, there are a lot of disappointed runners around the world who are hoping to take part in the ultimate human race. It would have been the centenary of the very first running of the race, but that's not to be in 2021. We're going to be joined by the official Comrades Marathon coach, Lindsey Parry, today to talk a little bit about what it means and what we should be focusing on now that Comrades has been cancelled, how to keep training so that we are in tip-top shape when races do come back on the calendar. My name is Brad. I'm from CoachParry.com, where we help you become fitter, faster, and stronger. And don't forget, if you do enjoy this video, if you get any value out of them, please do smash the like button. It really does help us. And also, if you have any questions or if there's something you'd like us to cover on these videos, feel free to pop that into the comments below this video. Lindsey, sad news. Last week, Comrades announcing that the 2021 edition of the Comrades Marathon is no longer happening because of COVID. As the official coach, what's your take on it?
Yeah, look, it is sad. It's probably the right thing to do at the right time. We were about to start encouraging people to essentially go into peak Comrades training for what would have been the 100th year running, before we upset the one or
Purists.
two people who really get annoyed when you use the wrong words there. But yes, on our last podcast, we said 100th running, but we meant 100th year. Anyway, so what would have been the 100th year? So people would have been keen to do well in the 100th year. And it would have been just about time to start peak training. So I think Comrades didn't have much of a choice to delay with the threat of third wave essentially coming around about when Comrades is. The chance of being able to hold a mass event were very limited. And with the non-commitment from the National Federation that it was possible to run later in the year, I think Comrades made the best decision in the best interest of the runners. I'm sure they've got some cool things planned anyway for us all to get involved in, just to celebrate the fact that the race does turn 100 years old this year, being run or not. There have been some world wars that have interrupted it, and Comrades came out of those strong. So hopefully the world will get through COVID and Comrades runners will come back rearing to go in 2022.
Yeah, absolutely, Lindsey. But there is obviously a 2021 virtual event to look forward to. Comrades are working very hard behind the scenes with that. Let's talk about what's next. I love the fact that they did a virtual run in 2020. It gave a lot of people an opportunity, not just in South Africa, but around the world, to experience a little bit of Comrades. It's not the same, but it is still part of the fabric of the race. What next? Should people continue training and go ahead and do the full virtual, or should they set their sights on something else?
Look, I've got a big bias towards what I would obviously do. There will be people, of course, that will do the full Comrades on the day. And we will be here and fully supportive of helping people prepare for that eventuality. But my personal bias leans towards making yourself a better athlete, improving your personal running. And you can do that by working on 5s, 10s, 21s, whatever kind of gets you excited. That is really where I'd work to. At Coach Parry, we spent most of last year almost resetting everybody, working on heart rate based plans, really developing a massive aerobic engine, and then also with the focus for those that wanted to really improve their 5, 10, 21 times. I'm shifting across now to the half marathon just to keep it fresh, just create a little bit more excitement after doing lots of 10K virtuals. Now I think we'll move along to more 21K virtuals and start moving towards the eventuality that, although in South Africa we're perhaps a little bit behind in terms of vaccine rollout, the stuff coming out of Israel now and how quickly people are getting vaccinated, particularly in the UK, and the stats coming out of that are really pointing to the fact that I think 2022 we won't be completely back to normal, but we will be getting there. And then I think our marathons and ultras will return. And I just think the energy expended on training for an ultra and then executing on either a marathon or an ultra mean that I'd rather save those for when we can do those in actual races.
Yeah, absolutely, Lindsay. You talk about the energy expenditure. Obviously, it takes a lot out of you, not just running an ultra, but training for an ultra. And the last thing you want to do is be mentally fatigued, because it's hard enough to run it when there are thousands of people on the side of the road like a Comrades would be. It's hard enough to keep yourself at that level for a long time till races do come back. The last thing you want is to feel fatigued and over it when races do come back.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the key. When races do come back, you want to be fit and healthy and in a position to really start to train. You don't want to go into that period carrying niggles and injuries from having done too much during a time where you quite frankly couldn't show anybody what you're really capable of. I love the fact that there's groups of people that are setting up almost mini races and mini time trials. But the reality is that when you look back on the stats book of your running life, you can claim those as PBs. Of course you can, and I'm not suggesting that people shouldn't. But when people ask you questions, they're going to ask you, what's your fastest 10K time? And then they're going to, next question, what race did you run that in? And you do want to save all this improvement in how well you're running for when official races return.
Absolutely. And Lindsay, just a word for Comrades. I mean, you've got to feel for Comrades as an organization. Yes, you are the official coach, and obviously there is some work there, but they've had it tough. I mean, it's been very, very difficult. Their hands have been tied, and I mean, just a word for the organization, Rowan, the race director, Tommy, the marketing manager, and the rest of the team there, and the boards. It's been a difficult time for them.
Very difficult, and they really are trying to juggle putting on the race that they've all grown to love. I mean, the people who are involved with Comrades have been so for years. Lots of people on the board have run and have got green numbers. They really do have the best interests of the runner at heart. And yeah, obviously I'm privy to some of the conversations that happen in the background, but one thing I can say for sure is that it was a very difficult decision for Comrades to make, made much harder by the fact that it is the 100th year and they're desperate to celebrate the history of the race in style. And it was devastating for them not to be able to present a race for the runners to run. And hopefully runners will appreciate that and get behind the virtual runs, because those virtual runs are still going to support enormous charities in the background, or support the charities enormously is probably a better way of phrasing that. And it's going to allow the race to continue, so that when we can get out on the roads, when we can have mass participations events, the race will be there and we will be able to run it in future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button over here so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. You can also watch our most recent video over here, and be sure to watch our most popular video over here.